Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Mr. David Kelly.
I was a child, my family would travel down to western Kentucky, where my parents were born. There's a backwoods old town, it's often remembered so many times that the memories are warm. So Daddy, won't you take me back to Muhlenberg County, down by the Green River where paradise lay. Sorry, my...
All right, ready to go? So whenever
Yep.
you're ready to go.
So I'll just play the first song. I got a couple of words for the other songs, but...
Okay.
Well, I was born on this mountain a long time ago. Starting it over. I'll do a Frank. 1, 2, 3. I was born on this mountain a long time ago. Before they knocked down the timbers, stripped mine to coal. When you rise up in the morning, before it was daylight, go down that dark hole, come back up at night. I was born on this mountain's my home. She holds me and keeps me from worry and woe. Took all that she gave and now they're gone. But I'll die on this mountain, this mountain's my home. I'm old on this mountain, once I was young. I know every hollow, cool swimming hole. One night I lay down, I woke up to find my childhood was over. Went back down the mine. I was born on this mountain's my home. She holds me and keeps me from worry and woe. She took all that she gave and now they're gone. Die on this mountain, mountain my home. There's a hole in this mountain, it's dark and it's deep. God only knows the secrets it keeps. There's a chill in the air, only miners can feel. There's ghosts in the tunnel, the company seals. I was born on this mountain's my home. She holds me and keeps me from worry and woe. they're gone. But I'll die on this mountain, mountain my home. So I'll die on this mountain, this mountain's my home. When I was a curly-headed baby, Daddy sat me down upon his knee. Said, son, you go to school and learn your lessons. Don't you be a dusty miner boy like me. And I was born and raised in the mouth of the Hazard Hollow. Coal cars roared and rumbled past my door. Now they stand in a rusty row all empty, 'cause the L&N don't stop here anymore. I used to think my daddy was a black man, script enough to buy the company store. Now he goes to town with empty pockets. His face is white as February snow. And I was born and raised in the mouth of the Hazard Hollow. Coal cars roared and rumbled past my door. Now they stand in a rusty row all empty, 'cause the L&N don't stop here anymore. Never thought I'd learn to love that coal dust. I thought I'd yearn to hear the chippers roll. How I wish the grass would turn to money. Those greenbacks line my pockets once more. I was born and raised in the mouth of the Hazard Hollow. Coal cars roared and rumbled past my door. Now they stand in a rusty row all empty, 'cause the L&N don't stop here anymore. Last night I dreamt I went down the office, grabbed my payday like I'd done before. Kudzu vines had covered all the doorways. There were trees and grass growing right up through the floor. I was born and raised in the mouth of the Hazard Hollow. Coal cars roared and rumbled past my door. Now they stand in a rusty row all empty, 'cause the L&N don't stop here anymore.
Hello and welcome to another edition of Talkin' Tunes. I am your host, Frank Walsh. Thanks for tuning in today. Now, ladies and gentlemen, this gentleman on my right needs no introduction. He was on my show about a year ago, played some great tunes, told some great stories, but he's back again to catch up a little bit on what he's been doing. He has some new projects in the work. He's going to be playing some more music for you. So without further ado, let me reintroduce to you Mr. Dave Kelly. Dave, how are you, man?
I'm good, Frank. How
Good to
you
see
been?
you. I'm
Nice,
well.
nice
Welcome
to
back.
you too.
Welcome
Well, thanks.
back.
Thanks for having me.
Almost a year, right? Just about?
Yeah,
Give or
maybe
take?
a little over, or just about. I'd have to look at the
Good for you.
last
So why don't you, for the sake of the audience who may not have seen the other show, why don't you roll back the clock a little bit and tell us a little bit about Dave Kelly, and I'll jump in where I need to.
All right. Well, I'm local from the South Shore. I've been playing music for about 30 years, with little gaps of off and on.
Yeah.
Um,
Are you still in the witness protection program, or
no, that wasn't conducive to the lifestyle I was trying to live.
you're out of that?
So I got out of that. Unfortunately,
Good.
most of the people who
just
I
needed-
was
I needed
involved
to
with,
get
they're
that-
kind of gone.
I needed
So,
to get that out in the open before we
good,
started,
yeah.
just to clarify things.
Thanks.
But go ahead.
Appreciate that. But no, things have been going along well. As you know, I'm a nurse,
Yep.
but I only work 2 days a week, so I'm taking my retirement in 5-day chunks.
Check a little bit
so-
about that, because you do God's work. You
Well-
do God's work. You work in hospice
Yeah.
situations, and you provide comfort to people who are on their last days. And
Yeah.
talk a little bit about what got you into that. Was there any kind of life event or any situation that said, you know what, this is what I want to do? Was there a seminal moment for that?
No, there wasn't one for this. So I've been a nurse for 30 years. The
Yeah.
majority of my practice was in the emergency room at Tufts. from
Right.
2000, 2010. Then I
Yep.
had to take some time off for some issues, which could be another show. We've already talked about that.
That's where the witness protection program
Yeah,
comes
well,
in.
that could be a little bit.
Yeah, so we'll leave that out in the show.
And so, but then as I was getting back into patient care in 2017, I got in touch with a buddy who was he was the executive director of a hospice company. He goes, hey, I'd love you to come work for me. So I did, and then that evolved into seeing patients again. And that's when, at this stage of my career and life, I was designed for this, based on I'm the youngest of 7. My dad was the second youngest of 8.
Wow.
My dad was 57 when I was born. So death has been around me forever. First witness death was in 4th grade. I remember
Right.
seeing that for one of his friends had a heart attack at the table. So I'm very comfortable with death. And I think that comes across when I walk into someone's house. That's a big part of the job, is to make other people comfortable.
I was going to ask about when you get into that and started getting into the hospital, did it take an early toll on you? But I think you just partly answered that, because
yeah.
I would assume that, I would say for myself, if I went into that situation, I'm an emotional kind of person, so that would probably really make me extremely emotional. And then over time, you learn how to mask that and internalize it, and maybe get your emotions out
Yeah.
when nobody else is around, by sharing
Yeah.
them with friends. But how did that emotional piece start to?
Well, yeah, it's interesting. I've been a hospice nurse seeing patients for, at that time, 4 years.
Yeah.
And in 2022, my second oldest brother had cancer, and it had come back. And so he came on hospice. So I took care of him for 10 days.
Wow.
And it was that experience that really got me to thinking about how the job may be a little more taxing on me than I realized. Because I look at it like, no, it's a piece of cake. It's easy. This is easy for me.
Right.
But almost everyone I spoke to was like, wow, that must have been so hard.
Exactly.
I thought, well, maybe it was, and I'm just masking it. And so I took a bigger look at that, and that's when I really sunk into I work my 2 days, which I don't really look at as work. I get to go into
Right,
people's homes and
right.
help them in a deep
Right.
way. But then the days I have off, I might go play guitar for someone who's on hospice.
Right.
I've done that before. Oh, since I did this show, I had met a gentleman who wasn't on my service, but he was a hospice patient, and just a random post on Facebook said he really wants to learn guitar before his time's up.
Wow.
So I spent 4 months with him trying to teach him how to play guitar, and most of it he was having a hard time because of the medications and he was weak,
Right,
but he
right.
was still with it and doing all sorts
Right.
of things. But we got together quite a bit, and so I do things like that as opposed to just work. No, I'll do that as well. So it kind of carries
So
over.
it balances it over. I mean, there's a lot of joy in what you do, and a lot
Yeah.
of self-satisfaction
Yeah.
knowing that you were helping these people, and so that maybe the emotional piece gets balanced off the risk-reward type of things,
Yeah.
if that makes sense.
Yep.
Is that true?
Yes, yeah. And then being able to realize that, okay, this is probably more difficult than I do need to step away from it.
Right, exactly.
Take little breaks, even if it's just mentally not
Yeah.
thinking about it.
Exactly,
And
exactly.
and that kind of leads into the whole sense of community. I can go into almost any house I go into. I know somebody in the house, or they know somebody I know. I've walked into houses and gone, "Hey, I went to high school with you," with a
Right.
child of theirs, or
Now, do you do the
weird
full
things, yeah.
cycle with them? Like, if and when they pass? Do you go to the service? Do you go to the
So
funerals?
it depends. It depends. I've been to a couple of celebration of lives.
Uh-huh.
I played songs at those because I have a few specific hospice songs that are nice. And so it really depends. I don't go to everyone because I don't build a relationship with every patient I go see because I might see them once and then not see them for 2 weeks.
Right, okay.
But I might see them once and form a really good deep connection,
right.
and that once is enough.
Right,
And we
right.
continue it even after I have somebody every once in a while we get in touch who I took care of her father. So things like that.
I know there's a project that you want to talk about, but before we do that, let's talk a little bit about your music and what's been going on with you musically since the last time you were here.
Well, since the last time I've just been playing more and been playing more with other people. And I've been playing for 30 years, pretty much.
Have you
and-
figured it out yet? Or?
No, just when you think you figure it out, something new comes along and you go, oh.
Exactly.
So it's a nice thing in that respect.
Oh, there's another
So
key other than
there's-
A.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, there's a B and a C.
I don't have to stay on these 3 frets. I can go up
Exactly,
here. But I've been playing a lot with other people.
Nice.
And that, whether it's somebody who is less proficient, it's not about being better or worse.
Right,
It's just
right.
proficiency and confidence.
Uh-huh.
Because I'm no technically better player than I was 3 years ago because I've been playing for 30 years.
Right, right.
However, I'm a more confident player, knowing that I'm not perfect, but I can get through a song, and even if it goes south, I can still get through it, and we can have some fun doing it. And that's come from playing with other people.
Now, when we were talking a little bit, there were a couple of people who were planning on coming on with you, and
Yeah, okay, well,
life get in the way.
I can limp bass them
But
now.
you had mentioned, they were going to I know you like the blues, so we're going to play some stuff with the blues flair.
Yeah.
Have you expanded your breadth of
Ye-
type of music that you play?
Yeah, I really like the old-timey stuff. So my original co-guest on this was supposed to be Steve Foligno, who plays mandolin.
Uh-huh.
And I get together with him whenever I can and with a bunch of other people and just play bluegrass stuff. Or
Cool.
even if it's not bluegrass stuff, play a song like Stray Cat Strut.
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
play it my way, and then they can throw it in. So last time I played that, there was a banjo player, a mandolin player,
Awesome.
upright bass, anything I can find. A flute, wouldn't matter. Those guys with bagpipes, we played along with
Wow.
bagpipes, but he played his own song. So that, but then there was blues. So then a friend of mine, Thaddeus Connor, who plays a good slide blues, and we play a lot of those Taj Mahal songs and Doc Watson.
Yep, yep.
I really like those songs. Basically, if I can pretend I'm Andy Griffith when I'm playing a song, I'm happy. And that happens a lot. When you're up on
I
performing.
can see that.
Yeah, when you're up performing, you think you're somebody else.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
basically
yeah.
what, I don't know what everyone does, but sometimes that's what I'm doing.
Yeah.
You know?
That's fun. Yeah,
yeah.
That's funny. What do you play with Taj Mahal?
Diving Duck Blues, My
Yeah.
Creole Bell.
Yeah.
and
What's
there's
the
probably
other
a few
one?
more. But
I heard a good one the other day. I haven't heard for a while, but I pulled out a thing of his. I always confuse Taj Mahal with who's the other one? Another New Orleans guy.
Kev Mo?
No. Old
Older
timer.
I can't.
Anyway, don't get old.
I'm not far behind.
Don't get old. But anyway, what about some of the traditional, the current blues stuff? You get into any of that at all, or any of the current musicians that you might play?
Not really. I mean, it's Taj Mahal and there's Kev Mo, but he's older than me. I think he's 65 or 68. But he's more recent, current. I mean, Taj is still around, but
Right.
he's in his 80s now. I think.
Yeah.
But no, new.
Dr. John, I confuse him with sometimes.
Oh, Dr.
I
okay.
confuse him with Dr. John, some of their
Yeah,
music. That's
I can
who it
see
is.
that. But no, I don't really have a lot of new guys. The new people I listen to are more in the singer-songwriter folk end of it. But even then, we're talking back in the
Now, how easy or
2000s.
difficult is it when you pick up these players, you'll pick up a mandolin, a flute, bagpipes, this, that, and the other thing. How easy or difficult is it to come together and agree on how it's going to be played, how it's going to be arranged? all
It's
this-
pretty easy because generally it's whoever's song it is, you go with what they want.
So it's what they want.
So it's like I'm playing this song, so here's my rhythm and how I play
okay,
it. Let
you're
me
gonna
go
play
through
in
it a
the
couple
C,
of times.
You're going to play in the D,
Yeah.
whatever it is. Okay.
Let me
good
go
for
through it
you.
a couple times so you see the rhythm I'm playing it. That way you can then do it.
Right.
And like Steve and he's great.
Yeah.
That does it. I actually play with this woman, Susan Weber, accordion, at an open. Anytime I played whole shows with her as well. But anytime she's there, it's like come up. Doesn't matter what song.
Right.
throw the accordion in there because she plays it nicely.
Right.
I don't have to tell her what key it's in. I don't have to tell her anything. And there's just this nice little droning in the background.
Yeah. Where do you play? I know you mentioned sound check.
Well, I've been to sound check. I know you've been talking to
yeah.
Charlie, is it?
Charlie Abel, yeah.
That's a great place there. They
It
have
is.
open mics on Monday night, which is like professional. It's like you're on stage. You
Yeah,
can't
yeah.
see the audience. The lights are bright. It's quite the experience. But then there's a place called the Wolf's Den. They have one as well, which is right down the street from Soundcheck. The Brewster Bar in Plymouth on Thursday night. That's a good one because you have a backing band and they're all very professional.
Right.
You know, maybe amateur professional, but they're very good there. Tinker's Son in Norwell. They have a
Have
couple.
you been to the
and
one
some-
in Weymouth?
the Red Rose.
No.
Oh, there was one.
No, the other one. The Brew House.
Oh yeah, the Union Brew House. I play
Union-
there a few times.
Union
They do
Brew
all
House
originals
on Tuesday nights with Jay Saros runs
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, usually Carlin Tripp has been there.
Carlin's
who
there,
runs
yeah.
it, or sometimes Birch Swart. I'm name dropping.
That's cool.
All these people
That's
I
cool.
have tangent relationships with.
And Barrel Z, did they have something?
They
over at
do
Barrel
as
Z?
well, Barrel Z,
every
and
once
even
in a
at
while?
Loretta's.
Yeah,
They're all part of the same
right,
promotional company, so Weymouth is close. So I've done that, but they do originals.
right.
And-
Now, do you do jams? You go into jams at all and join into jams?
Yeah, I have.
Good.
And that's fun too. Yeah, blues. That's how we met.
Right.
Was at the Blues Jam.
Yeah, because I know, you know Cindy Daly?
Yep.
Cindy does a great one.
Yeah, that's
down
Wednesdays at
yeah,
JR's. I live right
JR's.
around the corner from that.
JR's, right?
So I haven't been to that in about a year or so. But I should
Thursday
get back.
nights at Amvets.
Yeah, that Randolph.
in Randolph.
Yep.
You
That
know.
one's a little far, and it competes with my Thursday night at the Brewster Bar, and I realize that one is for
Right.
me is more in line with how I like to play.
Cool. Now, any plans, going forward with your music? Any evolution? Anything where you want to take your music?
It's
or-
kind of all over the map. I love playing farmers markets
Yeah,
because you
yeah.
get wide variety, and then you get kids there. I got a bunch of kids songs, which aren't your traditional kids song, but they have a good beat,
Right,
and kids
right.
like it. So I love getting that. I like getting people up. Someone
Right.
says, "Oh, I can sing." It's like, all right, let's go. Let's give it a try. See what
Right.
happens. Because even if it goes off the rails, it's usually fun.
How are you finding getting gigs? Do you put a lot of effort into that? Do
I
they
don't
come to
put-
you? Do you go to them? Or
Recently I've had people come to me,
nice.
which is nice. I'm doing a gig on the 15th from 4 to 6 in Plymouth on the corner of Court Street and
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
one of those, and they
Yeah.
promote that. So I got that through a friend of mine, Colette O'Connor,
I know
she does
Colette,
it.
yeah.
So she had recommended me, and they called me up because I'd played with her
Nice.
at one. So I like doing stuff like that. And sure, I'd like to get gigs, but it's very competitive.
Right.
I was playing a lot pre-COVID, then COVID hit, and I kept working. I didn't skip a beat, and actually probably got a raise because gas
Right.
prices were less, no traffic
Right,
and all that.
right.
So when I came back from COVID, I was like, I don't need these gigs. There are people who've been out of work who gigging is how they make money. I'll let them have them.
Right,
Not that
right.
I was that much of in competition, but
Right.
I pick one up here and there. So now it's more just if I stumble upon them, great. I don't beat the pavement much, but I do enjoy playing them. So I
Right.
do have a bunch lined up for the summer of farmers markets. There's a place at Ravenbrook Farm in Halifax. They do
Really?
a fall thing, and they have a
Nice.
glade of trees cleared out.
Wow.
So they have a bar set up in there, and they have a stage, and they have
Nice.
a food truck. It's a little chilly because we're doing October 10th, but it's a really nice environment. There's
Nice.
lights all around the trees, so if
Right.
the weather's cooperates, even though it's cool, it's a cool place to be.
It surprises me sometimes where they have some of these musical events. Some of them are on farms.
Yep.
Like tomorrow, for example, I'm going to go to a farm out in Walpole, and they have a music series there.
Yeah.
And they play in a barn.
Yeah.
And it's free.
Yeah.
They have refreshments and all that other kind of stuff, and you can just go out there and have a couple of hours, 2 or 3 hours, from like 12 to 3.
Yeah.
And I know they have one down in your neck of the woods in Norwell. I think they do it at one of the farms down
Yeah,
there.
I forget what it's
Because our
called.
mutual friend Chuck
Yeah.
Vermette plays that one
Yeah, there's a
in Norwell down there somewhere.
like an outdoor center of some sort right near a farm,
yeah.
near Jacob's Pond.
Yeah,
that
but I
played at
think they're
years ago.
becoming, at least for me, unless I've been out of the loop, but from more and more kind of, non-club, non-bar
Yeah.
kinds of locations that are
Yeah.
going on.
Yeah, it's nice.
A lot of farmers markets.
Yeah, Previty's Market is the place in
Properties.
Hanover. They had it last year. I played a couple of times. I know your
Yeah.
friend Eileen played there too
Yeah.
once.
But
Actually,
yeah,
I think I got her that gig.
I think you did.
I did, yeah.
I think, she'll never admit that.
No, but it's all right. I just work in the background, help people out when I
Yeah.
can.
She's our dear friend.
Yeah.
And but there's a project that we should talk about that you want to get into. But before we do that, I think this might be a good time to hear a little bit more of your music.
Okay.
And then when we come back, we can talk about that project and some of the things that you've gotten involved in, okay?
Yeah, sure.
So ladies and gentlemen, sit back and relax and enjoy the stylings of Mr. Dave Kelly, and we'll be right back.
It's an old song. Banks of the river, willows hang down, wild birds all warble, low moaning sound. Down in the hollow, the water runs cold, where I first listened to the lies that you told. I lie on my bed, see your sweet face. Past I remember, time can't erase. The letter you wrote me was written in shame. Know that your conscience still echoes my name. The nights are so long, sorrow runs deep. Nothing is worse than a night without sleep. Walk out alone, look at the sky. Too empty to sing, too lonesome to cry. The ladies were blackbirds, the ladies were thrushes. Lie there for hours in the chilly cold marshes. The ladies were squirrels, high bushy tails. Load up my shotgun with rock salt and nails. Load up my shotgun with rock salt and nails. Thank you. That one just reminds me of that section. And this song, this is a Chris Knight song called Send a Boat. And the last verse in it talks about a kid. And I saw this kid on one of my trips down there. We were to go, this is how bad the conditions were. We were supposed to work in a house that had a septic issue. But the issue was so bad they wouldn't allow the kids, with high school, college kids, to go in there. But they said, Dave, why don't you go in there? So they sent me and my partner, Quinn, my son, last year, just to cap off their drain pipe so that the sewage smell wouldn't be coming in. And this kid was playing basketball in his underwear outside. There was a pit bull on the porch. I walk in the house. The kids are drinking Coke and watching cartoons. And mind you, it's 9:30 in the morning. But there's not a whole lot they can do down there. But the last verse in this song just reminded me of that kid. It's called Send a Boat. Send a Boat. Send a Boat. Picture on the wall, Bible in her hand. Children never call, She misses her old man. Rain on the window, quiet as a tear. And if you never felt them, wouldn't know they're there. Someone's crying in the hall. Oh Lord, help us all, while we try and stay afloat. If you would, Lord, send a boat. Holes in the wall, a bottle by his bed. Holes in his past, empty as his head. Younger when he dreams, older than his years. And if he never wakes up, he'll know why he's here. Someone's crying in the hall. Oh Lord, help us all, while we try and stay afloat. If you would, Lord, send a boat. Writings on the wall, the bruise on his face. Daddy's come and go, Mama's on a date. He's just cold and hungry, playing ain't no fun. And if he ever grows up, gonna get him a gun. And someone's crying in the hall. Help us all, while we try and stay afloat. If you would, Lord, send a boat. If you would, Lord, send a boat. I was a child, my family would travel down to western Kentucky, where my parents were born. Backwoods old town, it's often remembered so many times that the memories are warm. So Daddy, won't you take me back to Muhlenberg County, down by the Green River, where paradise lay. Oh, I'm sorry, my son, too late in asking. Mr. Peabody's coal train has hauled it away. And sometimes we would travel right down the Green River, the abandoned old prison down by Avery Hill, where the air smelled like snakes. We'd shoot with our pistols, but empty pop bottles was all we would kill. So Daddy, won't you take me back to Muhlenberg County, down by the Green River, where paradise lay. I'm sorry, my son, but you're too late in asking. Mr. Peabody's coal train has hauled it away. Coal company came with the world's largest shovel. They tortured the timber and stripped all the land. They dug for their coal, but the land was forsaken. They wrote it all down as the progress of man. So Daddy, won't you take me back to Muhlenberg County, down by the Green River, where paradise lay. I'm sorry, my son, but you're too late in asking. Mr. Peabody's coal train has hauled it away. When I die, let my ashes flow down the Green River. My soul rise on up to the Rochester Dam. I'll be halfway to heaven with paradise waiting, just 5 miles away from wherever I am. So, Daddy, won't you take me back to Muhlenberg County, down by the Green River where paradise lay? Well, I'm sorry, my son, but you're too late in asking. Mr. Peabody's coal train has hauled it away. There you go, Paradise by John Prine. So thank you so much for having me tonight.
Gentlemen, I told you that you would not be disappointed. Dave, nicely done there, kid.
Oh, thanks. I appreciate that.
As I mentioned before here, we went to the break, and before you played, that you have a project that's kind of near and dear to your heart that you got into. Something about Appalachia, and
Yeah.
why don't you jump into that and tie a nice little bow on some of the things we've talked about and where that's brought you?
Well, let's see if I can keep it nice and concise. But
No, you
I
don't
am
have
my
to
father's
keep it
son. And
concise.
he was a chatty Irishman with the gift of gab there.
An Irishman who talks a lot?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, you wouldn't have
No.
known it 30 years ago when I didn't
No.
speak much, but now you can't shut me up.
Right.
But that's all right. But yeah, so the Appalachian Service Project, basically it's an organization based out of Johnson City, Tennessee.
Okay.
And what they do is they run a year-round program where you can go help people make their houses warmer, safer, drier.
Okay.
The conditions down there in Appalachia are much different than up here in most sections. Coal companies came in and kind of took advantage of the whole area, and now that they're gone, it's kind of dwindling.
Yeah,
So there's a
left 'em
lot
high
of
and dry,
services
right?
needed. Yeah, services are needed. And so it's a 10-week program, but I go down once for a week with a group from a church. It's a Christian-based program, but you don't have to be Christian to go do it. And we go down with high school and college kids, and I've been doing that since 2017,
Nice.
except for the 2 COVID years. Biggest year, there were 132 of us. This year, there were 95. We had 13 vans. There was 12 vans with 2 adults and 5 or 6 kids in a van, and then a floater van, which I was in with this guy, Jerry. And my job is to go around to the houses. So each van gets a house to go to work on, whereas you're doing wheelchair ramps, subfloors, you rot it out. I know they're replacing somebody.
Did you
does
bring the
that.
materials?
The materials are all provided by the ASP. So
Okay.
Appalachian Service Project,
Okay.
ASP.
They
It's
provide-
easier.
okay.
They provide the materials, but sometimes, they don't have everything, so we'll run in, little things like one of the families we were serving, their air conditioner was broken. And it's hot down there. It was
Oh, yeah.
96% humidity when I was down there.
Wow.
I stepped out of the van with my glasses.
Oh.
My glasses fogged up when I
Steamed
got
up.
out of the
Absolutely,
car.
yep.
That's never happened before.
Yeah.
2 things, the family didn't have an air conditioner, so the grown-ups take care. It's like, let's buy them an air conditioner. Now, ASP isn't going to provide that. But part of my job being a floater, I could go to Lowe's, which is an hour away.
Wow,
The nearest
yeah.
Walmart's an hour away.
Wow, yeah.
There's no convenience. There's one gas station in the town.
Wow.
And so I've been going down there for the past 9 years. And when you're there, you're in this little community with 95 other people. You're staying at this old middle school. You're sleeping in a gym with your cot. There's a cafeteria. somebody
With air
making-
conditioning, I hope.
Yeah, they did have air conditioning, so it did work out.
Right.
But it's a school, so some areas were hot. And the whole week that you're there, it's nothing but positive, supporting, no judgment. It's really helped my playing going there for these years. This year I got to hang around with this kid, John. I wanted to get him on the show, but he couldn't. He's been playing only for 4 years, but he knows his scales. He can pick up leads, so right away we were playing songs. And we played for 2 hours a day. I was up at 5:30 in the morning. He would be up at 5:45, and he's like, I'm going outside with my guitar. So at 6 o'clock, I'd go out there with him for an hour
Now,
until the
was
day
that
started.
like, a major event for the people in Appalachia having live entertainment, or is that something that's...
Well, it's not often that someone of my quality.
No.
Of
no,
someone who's
speak
willing
freely.
to share their music and
Yeah,
wants
and
to.
when they're like a concert is like, you
yes.
know, I'm sure they don't have that stuff every day.
No, they don't. So
That's a big deal to them.
yeah, it is. So it's not just building the homes, you're also there to build relationships with the people there.
Mm-hmm.
Because where some houses, they have no running water. They have to cart their own water in.
Wow.
Things like that. They're plugging into their neighbors for electricity because they don't have anything. And you see a row of houses because it's basically a bunch of houses, a whole lot of nothing. Bunch of houses, a whole lot of nothing, the way the coal companies kind of arrange things that way. And so, yeah, you can see one extension cord and have two houses
Wow.
with stuff plugged into it just because there's nothing there.
Wow.
So it's
They
very
can't get
humbling.
generators or stuff. Wow.
No, there's not. No.
Wow.
Look at it this way. I looked at house values. There was a property for $256,000. The yearly taxes was $306.
Wow.
So you know they're not getting a lot of services.
No.
I mailed a letter down there at a post office. There were 3 post offices in this county that I passed in a small area. I put them in on the Thursday. They didn't show up at people's houses till the following Monday, so 10
Wow.
days later.
Wow.
So they mustn't have gotten pickup for, I don't know when they got picked up.
Wow.
So it's surprisingly how remote it is.
Is there a lot of farmland down there? Do they live off
There's
the
some
land? Or?
no,
Wow.
no. Some people have little farm areas, but most people
Wow.
they don't have that, and I don't really know
being
how they
from
survive.
civilization, it's hard
Yeah.
to imagine living like that.
Yeah, and that's the difficulty. You go down there and you think, wow, it must be so hard to live, and I'm sure it is. But everyone, almost to the person, doesn't matter if you walk into a supermarket, somebody's stocking a shelf. Pleasant, hello, how you doing? And I think it's because of that isolation and because there's so few,
Very
you
communal.
need that connection no matter where you get it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's part of it was all connection. And the show I'm talking about, it's kind of like that, a love connection or community and connection
Mm-hmm.
through my experiences in Appalachia. And there are a lot of songs, Paradise by John Prine, The Mountain, which I think is a Steve Earle song, but
Mm-hmm.
Levon Helms covers it. The L&N Don't Stop Here Anymore. They all describe that area and what's happened to it based on history. And so, forget where I was going along that line. So, the connection. I've always wanted to feel like I live in Mayberry, if you're familiar with the Andy Griffith
mentioned
Show.
the Andy Griffith
Yeah,
before.
now sure, it was, if you look really deep,
Can I
it's
be
like,
Don
okay,
Knotts?
no. Huh? Yeah, you can, sure, I mean, all I know is I'm Andy. All right, that's
Okay,
it. I'm
all right,
Andy.
you're Andy.
You can be,
I'll be
sure,
Don
you can
Knotts.
be Barney. Oh yeah, you'd
There
be
you
a
go.
perfect Barney
There you go.
for us. But basically, it's
Thanks, I think.
it's a place where you know everyone.
Right.
You don't always get along, but you pull together when it really comes down to it.
Right.
And you support each other. So I
Nice.
built that over the past 3 years, whether it's at my home or down there. And it's made me realize we are all connected. We just don't know how yet. There's two I have. I was going down there 2 years ago, and we stopped in West Virginia at a Kentucky Fried Chicken off the main road. Place was empty. We go in there, 4 vans, so about 25 people, and we clear it out. And I ordered last so the kids could eat. We cleared out every piece that they
Nice.
had pre-prepared and then do more. And this guy came in. He looked like he was in his mid-70s. And he's standing behind me, so I just started talking to him. It's like, yeah, sorry, we cleared you out. We talk. And he's like, oh, did you grow, is this where you're from? He's like, yep, I grew up right here, right over there. I said, oh, I know someone from West Virginia, Dave Spencer. And he kind of looks at me, steps back, goes, oh, I know Dave Spencer. He lives up on blah, blah, blah street. And I pulled him up. I go, that him? He goes, yeah, that's him. I went to high school with him.
Wow.
Now, Dave Spencer, I'd only met once. He was my brother who had passed away, who I'd spoken
Right.
of earlier. He was my brother's platoon leader in Vietnam.
Wow.
And then ended up being a best friend throughout whole life. And he was down here. And I only had met him at my brother's service 8 months prior.
Wow.
Now here I am standing next to somebody who knows him. I thought, oh, that's interesting. Now granted, is that a strong connection? No, it's kind of removed. But, I mean, he met my brother in Vietnam. And now here I am seeing a friend of his. And that could be, but so there was that. And then another one, I went and played songs at the family site. And the guy came out who owned it. He's like, well, he goes, and he plays guitar. So we talked about that. And he said, oh, yeah. He goes, buddy, go get my guitars. He tells his son to go get his guitars. So he comes out with this little box about this big, only a box. And, opens it up, and there are these little wooden guitars he had made.
Wow.
And I'm like, huh. So I had made little wooden guitars. And he goes, yeah, I make knives too. I said, well, I make knives too. I had made knives during COVID for a number of years.
Wow.
And I had one with me. So he tells his son, he goes, oh, go get my knives. So actually he goes in and gets his knives. And while he went in, I had my knife I had made, and I took it off my belt and I just laid it on the table. And he comes out and he shows me all these knives he's made. Now they're different than my knives because of tools, availability, and all that. But they were still nice because he made them. He had a cane that had a bayonet from World War I, which has now been outlawed by the by the Geneva Convention. And he takes it out. He has an antler handle, pulls it out of the cane. He's got this hidden drawer and puts it in. I'm like, I could have made that. So he shows me his knives.
Nice.
I said, you know, I make knives too. I said, I made this one. And I make the sheaths as well. And I hand it to him, and he takes it. I go, I'd like you to have it. He's like, oh, really? I said, yeah. That's what I want to do. I want to leave this here. It's the second knife I've left down there. And he takes it like, oh. It's like, wow, thanks. And he undoes his belt, takes his knife off, puts it on, goes, fits perfect. It's like, oh, that's nice. So he goes to his son, he goes, hey, go get me that knife, blah, 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 that one. He's like, okay. He comes out with just a blade that he had bought. It was Damascus Tanto. It's a Japanese style. Okay. Didn't have a handle on it. And he goes, yeah. He goes, I got this years. I just haven't done anything with it. He goes, I want you to have it. Like, oh, well, thanks. So I still have it. I have to put a handle on that. Mm-hmm. But then I noticed he had a tattoo on his arm. And I couldn't see it. I'm like, oh, what's the tattoo? And he lifts it up. It's the Mediterranean Sea. So here's this guy in the middle of West Virginia.
Yeah.
I go, oh, where'd you get that? He goes, oh, I was in the Navy for 4 years. I spent the whole time over in the Mediterranean with my wife here. And then we came back here thinking, wow, I never would have guessed that. But I also said, this is like a Twilight Zone episode. You could go back and be me, and I could stay here and be you, other than the Navy service, because I don't want to ever take credit for being a veteran, because I'm not. Right. But it was just all those little connections. You make knives, I make knives. You like music, I like music.
The human connection is a beautiful thing, man.
Yeah.
You know, and those stories they're touching stories because, you know, they're things that you'll probably never forget.
No.
You know, they're moments that just, you know, in many ways, you know, define who you are, because there are a lot of people out there who go through life and never have those kind of things. They just, you know, they miss them.
Yeah.
You know, there were so many opportunities for people to connect with other people.
Right.
And they miss them.
Yeah.
They miss them, but you don't.
No, I don't. And from going down there, I try to bring it back and live the same way here, which is nice. But the people I get to meet. So this year, one of the families we were working on was an old guy in his 80s. He played guitar, and he had played drums in a band. And the guy who was stationed at the house said, hey, you have to come meet this guy. His name is Jerry. I'm like, great. So I bring my guitar every year. So played it. So I go up there and I start talking to him. So we played a bunch of songs together.
Nice.
And he can play. And so we played Deep River Blues and House of the Rising Sun. He could play some lead, so it was great.
Nice.
We'd never met before.
Nice.
But his claim to fame, and now I can get to say I shook the hand of the man who shook the hand up. He was playing in a band in a bar decades ago, and Willie Nelson came in.
Wow.
And Willie Nelson sang 7 Spanish Angels.
Nice.
With that band.
Wow.
So I'm
That's
like,
pretty cool.
I get to shake the hand of the guy who shook the hand of Willie Nelson. I've also gotten to shake the hand of someone who shook the hand of Robert Johnson's grandson.
Wow.
And Honey Boy Edwards. So
nice.
I got that going for me, if that means anything. But so the connection part and the community.
I don't know if we had talked about this or I mentioned this before when you were talking about you know, the coal mines and Appalachia and all that. Are you familiar with a movie called Mate One?
Oh, I love that movie. Yeah, James Earl Jones and
Did we mention
Chris
that
Cooper.
The first time around? But
maybe, but
that's one of the best movies I've ever seen.
Yeah.
I think I've watched that 4 times.
Yeah, and that shows how that shows it well, because some of the songs, and one of the songs I'll play, it talks about script and how the coal companies came, and they actually ran the towns. So they paid you in script, and you lived in company housing. So they paid you in script and took your money out of that, and you could only spend that script in their store. So you couldn't leave the county and go spend it in another store because that money wasn't good there. So there was no way to save, nothing for the future.
Yeah. But in that movie, you know, at the end with the you know, the gunfight at OK Corral when they did that, I tell you, the thing that, you know, the things that left the mark on me, and it's still, as I say it, I got the postcards in my head, was when I think it was Jim Belushi, Was it Jim Belushi in that?
I can't remember.
Whoever it was, but one of the good guys got shot.
Yeah.
He got shot, and they went over to help him, and he looks up, and he says, "How you doing?" And just the way he said it, he said, "I can't feel my leg." And when he said that, I lost it.
Yeah.
And then at the end, with that kid, just when you think it's all
Yeah.
over, but that closing image
Right.
of the kid in the coal mine looking into the camera,
Yeah.
it's like came right around
Oh,
again.
okay, yeah.
But it hits you right in the feels, and and that I think is a real good portrayal of what it was like, and
Yeah.
maybe what you were talking
Yeah,
about.
it is, and that's part of that show. This came together. I wanted to put a show. I have a slideshow with pictures that kind of correspond with the songs I'm
Yeah.
playing. And one of the things in the pictures, it was either until 1932 or 1937, you were allowed. So you were supposed to take out a ton of coal a day. That was your quota. If you were a worker, you had to do it. If you couldn't meet that quota, you were allowed to bring your children, as long as they were 10 years old or older, to help you. And it happened all the time. I got some great pictures of a bunch of little kids just all decked out. And finally, they made it a law. You can't do that. But that's all part of the history and what we forget. And I hate to use that, it's in our backyard thing. But yeah, where's the help for them? And people say, well, why don't they move? Well, you can't uproot someone who's been generations, that's all they've known.
Yeah.
Where are they going to go? And you shouldn't rely them to move. You should at least provide them some infrastructure so they can survive.
Exactly.
But that's not going to happen. So this area we were in this year, Clay County, the town had only 700 people in it. The county had 7,000 people. Whereas I live in Pembroke, the town, and there's almost 20,000 people. So picture Stoughton with 700 people.
Wow.
So how spread out are those people going to be?
Amen, yeah.
That might be Fuchs. I don't know how big Stoughton is compared
It's
to
good
the town of
size.
Clay.
It's big city.
So maybe slightly smaller, but still
Wow.
a town that only has 700 people that up here would have that. I've seen more houses that are overgrown than you see houses people living in.
You're planning on continue doing this?
Yep, I'll do it. The woman who has been doing it has been running it for 26 years.
Wow.
She's probably going to stop this year, at least not go down, still be in the background, but some other people have taken it over, me as well, as part of committee. We're running it by committee instead of one person, because I don't know how she did it for that
Right.
long. So
Now,
I plan on doing it.
This is all
It's all
volunteer.
volunteer,
All
yeah.
volunteer, too.
So-
even gas and transportation? I mean,
Yeah,
you get
and
no,
we
no
raised-
stipends or anything like that?
No, I mean, it's an LLC, so maybe we get something, but usually it's fundraising. And we do have a
Wow.
couple of big contributors, which is nice. Somebody randomly sends a check of $10,000 every year. It's anonymous.
Wow.
It just shows up in the mail.
Yeah.
But we have 14 vans.
Do I
That's
spell
like
anonymous
30,000.
correctly? It's a hard word for me.
Yeah, I
Sometimes
think you picked.
misspell it.
No, I think you got it right.
Was it
A-N-Y.
spelled right? Okay.
A-N-Y,
and you
yeah.
did get it, though, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay,
yeah.
good.
So and we're
wait a
appreciative
second.
of that.
I'm supposed to be anonymous. I shouldn't have said that.
Well, you always keep me on my toes.
Good for you.
But so that whole sense of community that I'm trying to build here, that's it in a vacuum. It's 9 days of hot, sweaty, nasty. The conditions of the schools that these kids go in, I took a video of it. In the bathroom, 2 of the sinks, only 1 of the handles worked. 1 of the urinals has plastic over it. And it's like they're not going to fix that before the kids come back to school. That's just the way it is. And kids go to school. Last year, the town we were in, the graduating high school, 32 kids. And the year before was 40-something kids. So there's not going to be many kids graduate from that high school in 3 years.
Now, when you come from there, and having been there many, many times, does that give you more of an appreciation of what you have?
Yeah.
And the way you live, and just the appreciation of what you have and where you are compared to them? Is that palpable for
Yeah,
you?
it is. It's less so because I'm pretty understanding that I'm fortunate to have everything I have. And I could lose anything in a second. From my job, I know I'm not guaranteed to make it home from this. I'm not guaranteed to get up and make it to that door.
Been there, done
and
that,
I've
I
seen
know.
that enough. I've seen people, I've been in rooms when people have passed. I've been there shortly after. I've walked away from somebody, say, like you, who's on hospice, and then 3 hours later, they're gone.
Yeah.
You just don't know.
Right.
And if you live your life that way, I started doing this years ago, is if I'm ever feeling antsy or upset, I think, wait a minute, if if I died right now, would I be happy with the last 5 minutes I've been living? And if my answer is no, I really try to stop whatever it is I'm all wrapped up in and go, okay, and then I better
I like that.
recheck.
I
Yeah,
like
it's helped me over time. And now just build that community everywhere. Just like you, I think the day we met was at a fundraiser at the Citizens Club in Bridgewater. And it was just, it was just, Dave West was there.
Yep.
And I remember sitting with you and, is it your wife?
Yes.
Yeah, you and your wife.
Laura, yep.
And all. So all those chance meetings, and had I not been open to that, I wouldn't be sitting here.
Right.
So and all of that.
Right. Well, I think this is a good time to kind of wrap it up on a really positive note. And I'm glad I was there that day, and I'm
me too.
glad that we sat with each other. Is there anything that we didn't talk about, or anything that you'd like to add? Anything that we might have missed?
No, no, we hit it all. It's just, that developing community, building it, making every person interaction you have with someone meaningful, even if it's only for 5 seconds.
Right.
The one thing I've started doing, we talked about something earlier, and I said I was going to borrow that from you.
Okay.
I was walking into an assisted living to see a patient, and out of the elevator came a guy who worked there. He had a name badge on, but he was using a stand-up rolling walker. So he had some type of disability.
Okay.
And he comes walking out, and I was saying, hey, how you doing? I say that to everyone, hey, how you doing? I go, hey, how you doing? He goes, I'm fantastic. How are you? And that caught me by surprise. So I went, I'm fantastic too.
Yeah.
He's like, great, you have a great day. I go, I will. Ever since then, I say that to people.
I'm fantastic.
And you'd be surprised. There's some people who go, really? Yeah. Why wouldn't I be? So it can start a conversation. And if I'm not feeling fantastic, I'm like, hey, I'm great. Hey, I'm good. It's never, or if I'm not, I'm like, yeah, I'm having a little rough time right now, but more or less, I'm fantastic. You just be honest, not, oh, I'm fine. I'm good. Oh, good. How are you? Make it more than just you'd be surprised because you never know who it is and what you're going to get out of it. Not that you're looking for something out of it. But just like when I spoke with you, I wasn't thinking, what can Frank do for me? I wonder what he does for work. I wonder if he can help me move my agenda along. No, it's just, hey, here's this guy who likes music, and we're just talking about music.
I mean, I can relate to that. Is that, my thing is that always leave people smiling, make them feel good, regardless of who, what, where, and when. And here's one for you that you can pull off. I'll give you another little bit of Frankieism. When you go in the store, no matter where you go, and you go and buy a coffee, and they'll say, well, is there anything that I can get you? My answer is always, just a smile.
That's good.
And they smile. Yeah. And, some of them are kind of shocked because it's like no one's ever said that to me.
Yeah.
And then they smile, and I say, keep that up, you wear it well.
Yeah.
And then it makes their day.
Yeah, it's all infectious.
And you do little things like that. And I think we're cut from the same cloth in that regard. I can see that in you. And, I drive my wife crazy sometimes of what I'll do. I mean, I flirt with little old ladies. Yeah. I leave them smiling.
Right.
I always want them smiling.
Well, it's funny. I have a few originals. I love to say, here's a song. Here's an original I wrote. People say it all the time. It's like, well, okay. And, as opposed to an original Frank wrote. Here's an original Frank wrote, and I'm ripping it off.
Here's an original I stole from you.
And it's about my father. And the line is, he taught me what's important, blah, blah, and the last line is, and always leave them smiling.
Really?
Yeah, that's the last line in the song.
Wow.
And always leave them smiling. Yeah. Right. So you were correct. We kind of think along those same lines.
Well, Dave, let's leave them smiling.
All right.
Thank you so much for coming on.
You
thank you so much for coming on. You're welcome anytime. Yeah. Just not soon.
Yeah, and alone. I'll have a guest because I have so many people I want to get on the show.
And as always, I wouldn't be able to do this show without the folks at SMAC, especially Luke Asek. He's in the booth directing this show, always makes us look and sound pretty. And as always, folks, I want you to encourage you to go out and support these musicians. Support people, go out, buy a drink, listen to some music, buy a pizza, support these people. They need you and you need them. So for everyone here at SMAC, my guest again, Dave Kelly, I am Frank Walsh. Tune in and tune on.